Kuwait's relations with South Africa have expanded significantly since 1994, and several South African construction and engineering companies have successfully executed major projects, including cooperation in the defence and petrochemical sectors. Moreover, a substantial number of strategic bilateral agreements are under negotiation, including the establishment of a Bilateral Join Commission between the two countries, which will further consolidate and strengthen political and economic cooperation. Sarah Glubb has this report.
South Africa's relationship with the state of Kuwait remains cordial, with ongoing engagements at various political, economic and cultural levels that are anchored by the strategic objective of strengthening relations with Arab countries.
We had quite a number of discussions with my counterparts and colleagues here in Kuwait with regard to what we think should be, but those are informal discussions basically, because it was more of a busy schedule. As we meet here in a lot of states, we take the opportunity to try and meet and do other things. We meet people from Eritrea, we meet people from Iraq, people from Iran, and then people from Burundi, meet people from West Africa. So we try to utilize this opportunity to exchange notes, to discuss some of the things. So it becomes much of a hectic. The Kuwaiti one needs a focused approach from our side, in South Africa, and I hope it will be the same thing here. So we need to do a lot of follow-ups.
The South African Embassy in Kuwait is extremely active in facilitating increased direct investment by the Kuwaiti private sector in South Africa, especially in the tourism infrastructure sector, and promoting bilateral trade.
We focus on everything which member states also focus on. But obviously there are quite a number of important issues which we think and we hope that member states are not going to allow them to fall through the cracks or they remain behind. Amongst others is our ability of the two regions to work together on the issue of peace, stability, and post-conflict resolutions. Because without peace and stability, whatever decisions have been made can't be implemented, because you can't implement these decisions when there's war. You can't build infrastructure when somebody is destroying it. So it's important for us to work together to do that, particularly because in these two regions, they are the worst at the moment with regard to political conflict. Most of the deaths which are taking place is in Africa and the Middle East, unfortunately. And these are political conflicts. So we have to stabilize that. We need to find a way to stabilize that. And secondly, to deal with the issue of terrorism, which is affecting the region quite significantly now. Because without that stability, we won't be able to make headway in whatever decisions we have taken. So that becomes very crucial. But we can't wait for peace first before we move, because if we don't move and communities are unemployed, and then there's hunger and there's poverty, communities themselves are likely to rise up. So we need a two-pronged strategy. Try to achieve peace, but at the same time begin to build the building blocks to deal with the challenges which we face. The second one is the agreement on agriculture or food security. The efforts which need to be made to ensure that we have got food security both in the continent of Africa and also in the Middle East. The partnership in that area becomes very critical for us. The third one is the resolution on beneficiation of natural resources. You know that everybody will say Africa is a rising continent, the growth rate is quite fast, but there's an abundance of natural resources in terms of minerals. People are continuing to discover gas and oil and all these things. Those things we need to partner with our brothers in the Middle East to ensure that we share expertise, we share opportunities, so that we can assist each other in terms of taking the continent forward. So those for us are quite significant and important. Lastly, also at the political level, we need to work together, share ideas, compare notes, so that when we go to multilateral institutions like the United Nations, in all the committees of the United Nations, we go to the G20, at least we move from a common position. We are a South-to-South relationship. We are developing countries. Africa and the Middle East have got a historical link It's a very important one. More than any other continent, we've got a very direct historical link between the two.
Moreover, South Africa has become a preferred tourism destination amongst Kuwaiti nationals and the expatriate community. Kuwait maintains a positive role in South Africa with significant investments in various spheres. However, both sides are continuously committed to expanding and developing bilateral ties in the politic, economic, security and cultural domains. This is Sarah Glubb reporting for English News.